go yard.
Hello and welcome back to CFCTALK. I'm your host, Mohammad Soleja, joined by Alex, as always. Season 2. And finally, the season's about to start tonight. Chelsea played Tottenham, and depending on when you're watching it, actually, Chelsea and Tottenham just got over with. So let me just go through what's going to be in this episode before we dive into it and get Alex's opinions on everything as well. And we'll be discussing some major topics. I'll tell you that first of all, starting with a few decisions that Chelsea have already made in terms of loaning out Billy, selling Fikayo Tomori, selling Olivier Giroud, as well as other academy players as well. I think Liverpool sold Mark Dewey, if I'm not wrong, to Fulham. I don't know if that's happened or not.
Palace.
Palace. And as well as the fact that Tammy Abraham might also leave before the end of the transfer window closes. And of course, the big one, Haaland, or Kane, who's coming to Chelsea. But by the time you guys are watching this, we might even have an announcement. We might even have an announcement. You never really know as well. Along with Chelsea's pre-season games against Tottenham and Arsenal, he actually won one against Arsenal and drew the one with Tottenham tonight. At the Bourse, we got to our Champions League trophy, something Tottenham players were actually in awe of. And to end the episode, a little bit about the performances for our players and who could make it to the first team for the likes of Ruben Loftus-Cheek, maybe even Borja, which I think he might be going out on a loan as well, which is quite tricky, but we'll discuss that as well. Alex, how you doing? Welcome to the podcast. Sorry for the late intro. A lot to talk about.
I wasn't falling asleep yet. It's late here, but more late for you. But yeah, it's amazing to be on again. It's amazing to, start season 2 of the podcast, go from strength to strength, hopefully, with Chelsea and the podcast too, and really looking forward to covering what's going on at Chelsea. And what better time to do it than start within our crazy transfer windows. But yeah, like you said, knowing us, the time, just as we get this uploaded, someone's going to be announced for sure, and it'll be out of date, because that's just how we roll at CFCTALK.
I mean, see, it's been so long. I think it's almost been 2.5 months now. The last episode was right after the Champions League win, so around about 1st of June, 2nd of June when we uploaded that one. So it's almost mid August now. But yeah, there's not been a lot of action in terms of Chelsea's transfer news, and then the Euros kicked around, which was quite entertaining. A lot to cover from there as well. But then again, we could just do it now as well. But yeah, let's dive straight into it. Firstly, Chelsea Arsenal a few days back. First of all, I think it was Emirates Stadium. Great game. I can't exactly remember who scored. I'll just pull it up. Havertz and Abraham with the 2 goals. And granted, not letting Mendy and Kepa both have a clean sheet at the start of the season, at the start of this kind of tournament that we've got going on, which is quite interesting. The funniest thing is I saw the points table and I was like, I don't quite understand why we've got 4 points. How we've got 4 points in Tottenham. Apparently, you get awarded points according to the amount of goals you score.
Wait, so there's a table for this pre-season friendly?
This is a 3-way tournament, which I am guessing Chelsea are winning at the moment. Your takeaways from
Well,
I mean, it's a great initiative for
of course.
Yeah,
it is. I just didn't know there was a table for it. Now I
as well. I got to know it today as well.
So we need Tottenham and Arsenal when they play. I guess they'll play each other maybe on the weekend. I don't think they've played each other yet, but when they do, we need to hope for a 0-0 for if you get points for goals. But yeah, like with the Arsenal friendly and this friendly too, it was a really good showing in both first halves. we played almost a full strength, well, at least a full strength attack. Without, I mean, the only real main player we didn't really have in attack was Mason Mount. So yeah, it was really good to see Havertz play amazing in the Arsenal game. Did all right against Spurs, but yeah, really good to see some familiar faces. And I wasn't expecting Werner and Havertz to start in both, but they did, and really happy to see them both play. And I can say that Timo was usual Timo, I'd say. Don't want to get into it too much. We'll get into it later, but Havertz was definitely been the standout player in attack, as well as Ziyech, I guess.
And by later, do you mean later in this episode or later throughout the season? Or is it just
both? It can mean both, I think. But Werner it was crazy though. Werner, I know this is skipping over a bit, but Werner had an offside goal that was not offside. Who would have thought? This is yeah. They played the replays back.
I right away I pulled out my phone and I right away tweeted Werner and scoring offside. It's just a match, and then I was kind of looking through the VAR rules that they've kind of created for this season, and how minimal offsides won't actually count as offsides, and the lines will be thicker, and also it will be favoring the attackers. And I thought to myself that this was a clear onside goal, and that was given offside. So I can imagine what's going to happen for the rest of the season.
That was because there's no VAR in this game. It was just based off a linesman decision, which was surprisingly wrong. But yeah, I reckon with these new offside rules, Timo is bagging at least 20. He scored like how many disallowed goals last year? 36, I think at least 10 or something.
It was almost equal. I think he scored and he scored the same amount of offside goals as the actual scores that he scored. So yeah.
So he's with these new lenient offside rules, he's bagging at least 20. It's not even up for debate anymore. So looking forward to that.
I would say standout performance Ziyech today. I was watching him. I did watch a lot of the Arsenal game, but it's because it's happened about, I think, 4 days back. You just kind of forget it, and because all the players only 20 each, because we started from the squad gave the younger players a bit of a chance to play. Hakim Ziyech today was on point. He was the wizard that we bought from Ajax.
Dude, literally, it's so you can put any better. I see a lot of people on Twitter saying that with a proper preseason, he would explode, and I honestly think he will. I agree with him. He just looks so sharp. I mean, yes, he's played only a half. I think he played only a half in both friendlies, or maybe a little bit more than a half in the Spurs game. But he's looked so sharp, and people can't deal with him. So yeah, really, really looking forward to see how he's going to be, or how he's going to do for the rest of the season. Other than him, I think there's two other players that come to mind for the Spurs game. Firstly, Kante. Did you see what he was pulling off in that first half?
I think there was a moment where he lost the ball and he got the ball right back, and then he lost it and then he got it back right. It was such a Kante moment. The guy who fixes his own errors.
He was just exactly right. He was just ridiculous in that half. He was a brick wall. Nothing was getting past him. I don't know how many tackles and interceptions he won, but particularly in the opponent's half as well. Plus, to get the assist for Ziyech's first goal with a decently timed slide tackle, just textbook Kante, innit? So yeah, that was amazing.
But I can't remember who it was, but I was watching the Chelsea side of stream on Chelsea TV, and during half of the show, someone just kind of mentioned how Dele Alli would want to be so furious of Kante that he wouldn't want to come out. The amount of time dispossessed by Kante today alone was, I think, about 2 or 3 times. So how Dele Alli would want to be substituted off, but however, he actually ended up playing the full 90.
Oh wow! Yeah, honestly, I don't think anyone would want to be up against that kind of Kante doing that for a whole game, let alone only 45 minutes.
In a preseason as well. You don't have to do that. I mean,
Exactly. I was surprised Kante was even starting, to be honest. But yes, he does need some minutes. Yes, we need to rest him and save him for when he's really needed. But you do need to get some legs into him as well, or some minutes into him as well. But yeah, as well as him, I think we needed a special mention to Trevor Chalobah, because
Yeah,
he has been unbelievable in both
especially in a
games.
back three, especially in a back three. Not a lot of
Yeah,
defenders
yeah. And
tend to do well.
in the second half, we changed to a back four, and he played it right back, and he played superbly as well. It's just he's just been perfect. He could not have had a better. Yes, it's only been 2 games. Don't want to jump the gun too much, but as a backup right centre back, I wouldn't be too unhappy if, for some reason, say we'll get into Jules Koundé in a bit, but I wouldn't be unhappy, to be honest, if Koundé doesn't come and we just have Chalobah as a backup right centre back, because he's proved that he can play at this level. So I'd keep him, and if it means saving 70 million right now, I'd keep it. I'd pass. But then again, Chelsea seem to be extremely keen on Koundé, so
I
they'll
mean,
probably have a different opinion.
um, I know we're probably going to get into a bit of a debate with Koundé, but I think yeah, I totally agree with you on that one, because I think he's valued at around 25 to 30 million pounds, but what Sevilla are asking for him is about 55 to 60 million pounds, which is 70 million euros, which is quite surprising. I mean, yes, he's a youngster, yes, he's got potential, but at the same time, if you put a price tag like that on him, it might just mean when his contract, rather than he'll leave for free, because a lot of clubs would want to put in an offer for that amount, which is almost double or triple the price of an actual player. But yeah, I completely agree with you. I think Chalobah it was great both games as well.
Yeah.
But an honourable mention to Timo Bakayoko. I mean, I felt something today.
Honourable.
Sorry, but I mean, you give him so many chances, and it just hasn't worked, has it? It's just
He just doesn't have a future at Chelsea. I've spent plenty of my life in the past couple of years, or no, plenty of time in the past couple of years lamenting his performances, and I feel bad because, sorry, no, that's too harsh. In the 17-18 season, I was not his biggest fan, but he finished strongly in that season, and he's had some okay loans and a good loan too.
AC
I
Milan.
can't remember his latest one. I think it was Napoli.
AC
Yeah, and yeah, it was AC Milan, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like he just doesn't have a future at Chelsea. It's plain and simple. He doesn't. So I don't know why he was really spending any time playing him. And it's one worry that I have, that we haven't really been able to sell. Yes, we've managed to get rid of a couple of players from the loan army, but nowhere near enough. We have what, 25 days left of the transfer window, yet we still have Kennedy playing for us on left wing in our C team. I don't know why he's still there. And yeah, there's quite a few players who basically played in that second half against Spurs, and yeah, they shouldn't really be here anymore. And we should have been able to find a loan for them, but maybe it's just difficult to find loans for these guys, for probably because of the pandemic.
That's why we see a lot of these players featuring right now, because one or two of these good performances, and this could mean they might get a chance of a good loan. I mean, we just talked about Chalobah here. He might even go out on a loan, or because of these two performances that he's had, and it's kind of, I think that's what Tuchel's kind of trying to do with Sarr, Bakayoko, Zappacosta, maybe Ampadu. But I mean, you really need, as a player, up on the day, and that really hasn't happened. And realistically, Bakayoko, there's no chance. He's not even our fifth or sixth choice midfielder at this point. Because I think we've got Kante, we've got Kovacic, Jorginho, Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, who can play as well. So you've already got 5 good ones, and if even you need a backup one, you've got Ampadu, who's a lot better than Bakayoko, or has a has more potential than Bakayoko and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I know we're going to get into that kind of to see if he can break into the first team and become a regular. He played under Lampard for a bit, but it's these type of questions which we were kind of going to have to Chelsea are going to have to kind of look over during the next 25 days if they really need to get funds, not even just for transfers, but to get rid of players who are not able to break into that first team. I'm not going to say who don't have the potential or who don't have the Chelsea quality, because that means nothing. It changes every year or so, but your thoughts on that?
Sorry, on like whether
On
these
just
fringe players
generally
will be good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just depends. Like, I mean, from what I see, there's only a couple of them who really even have a chance of staying or should be competing. Yes, the whole Chelsea standard thing is a bit of a wish-washy term, but the way I see it is like, are they good enough to start, or at least, it is a very wish-washy term. I can't defend it.
No,
but,
I mean,
yeah,
that's why I always like to say who might not be able to break into the first team Chelsea, which when I say that, I mean by the quality of players that we already have at the moment in the first team squad. And why I just don't like to say quality or potential is because there's a season we win the Champions League, and then there's a season where we finish 10th. So how does the quality look like there as well? So can't really here and judge whether it is Chelsea quality or not, but we can kind of say if he's got the potential to break into the first team or not.
Yeah, you're right. And it's like there are a couple who you can still imagine as like being useful to keep as a backup. Like, I think Loftus-Cheek, because we don't have Gilmore, because we don't have Gallagher's also gone on loan. It's like unless Tchouaméni comes in, I wouldn't mind Loftus-Cheek. I think Loftus-Cheek is a bench option as a fourth choice behind Kova, Jorginho, Kante, and probably Mount at right centre mid, or sorry, at centre mid. I'd be fine having him there as well, but it's like I'd kind of expect Tchouaméni to come in, to be honest, if Rice doesn't come in this summer. I do think we'll probably get another central midfielder in, well, I hope at least. But because go on, sorry.
No, I was just going to add on, and because the next point that we were going to kind of talk about is whether we should be returning back to a back four and utilizing the attack that we've got and that we've got, or should we put a back three, use five at the back, something that's been working for Tuchel at PSG. He's done it last year with Chelsea, and it seemed to have worked with Conte at Chelsea as well. So it's a very successful formation. However, it limits the amount of attacking players that we have. And this is just a bit of a stat. It might change over the next 25 days, but at the moment we've got 11 players, 11 options in terms of our 4-3 as well as the cam position right now, which is kind of concerning because it's not going to be easy to keep all 11 players very happy throughout the season. So your thoughts on whether we should be moving to a back four or back three before I give mine?
I'm going to definitely say stick to the back three, mainly because you want to play to our strengths. I'd say our main weakness right now is clinicality, and I don't see putting more attacking players on the pitch making us more clinical. So, yeah, I would rather sacrifice some of that. I saw some really good tweets earlier about how, with the back three, we restricted the best attack in probably world football, one of the best in attacks in world football, in Man City, to 0 or 1 big chance a game. That's what the back three lets us do. And so I just think, the defensive solidarity that it gives us is just too great, and that it plays to the strengths of so many of our midfielders and defenders by having without the back three, Andreas Christensen would not be the massively hyped man that he is, and rightly, and
Danish
deservedly
Maldini.
so. The Danish Maldini, indeed. So I
mean,
wouldn't mind.
just
Yeah. What
a
do you
bit of a
think?
side just a bit of a side note before I do that. I mean, I'm sure you saw Christensen play as a defensive midfielder in the Euros, just for a game. I think it was against Wales. How about just chuck him in there in the midfield if we need him?
Mm,
Fifth choice.
true.
Who needs Tchouaméni
Exactly
when
right.
you've got?
Yeah. I'd back him there. I'd back him there easy. But yeah, it's
Makes
like
that
I
run
just don't.
90 minutes
Yeah.
goal top
Yeah.
corner,
Yeah.
seal the deal.
We need to see him do that more, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think?
I think stick to the back three. I think, as the saying goes, don't fix something that's not broken. I mean, yes, we've got a lot of options at attack, but realistically, last season, if we look at it, we weren't the Chelsea that scored 5 or 6 goals a game or averaged about 2 or 3 goals a game. We were winning 1-0, 2-0. Why that was enough is because we basically had almost 1 or 2 shots. We only let the oppositions have 1 or 2 shots on target. Most of the shots would be deflected off defenders, would be stopped in midfield through Kante, and then you've got the three at the back as well, and then the wing backs as well to support them. So as Pep Guardiola said in that famous video before the Champions League final, he describes it really well. He somehow wasn't able to break it down, but um, it's something that has worked. I mean, 20 clean sheets this season. We've won the Champions League with that formation. Tuchel's very much experienced, again, as we said, PSG and then at Chelsea as well. And even our preseason, yes, we did concede a goal. I think 2 goals this game, the goal last game. But again, it's preseason. It's not your full 11. It's not everyone
Like,
who's in form.
I'd add that the players who made the mistakes in the Tottenham game were players who play for our C team pretty much. So Bakayoko, I think, but for the I'm trying to remember both goals now, but I think it was the combination of Bakayoko giving the ball away and Malang Sarr playing a pass straight to a Spurs player. So yeah, it's like if it was Rudiger or Zuma or Eric Christensen,
Fingers
Thiago
crossed.
Silva, we're making
Fingers
yeah. If they were making a mistake, I'd be maybe a little bit. If they're going to need some time to readjust, but it was guys who were in our C team pretty much and won't be competing with Rudiger, Thiago Silva, Christensen, etc. So yeah, it's
No,
I'm
yeah,
not
I
so
mean, I
worried
completely
about
agree. The one other thing that I kind of noticed is I was kind of sitting comparing the Chelsea of Tuchel under Chelsea of Lampard, and we weren't really utilizing the pace that we have with Lampard. I mean, because we were using the wingers as players who would be usually outside the box trying to cross the ball in, trying to play balls inside. But now what we've kind of done is use Werner, who plays almost on the left or even in the center, as well as Pulisic, who's got quite a lot of pace to run through the center, try and get a through ball in, or let Reece James and Ben Chilwell play out in the wide position, cross the ball in. So it gives us a lot more opportunity and a lot more chances. And yes, I know there's a kind of debate that was happening where Zuma doesn't fit into this and what that would happen. But again, Zuma might be leaving Chelsea as well. But those rumors have kind of died down at the moment, which is a good thing. Zuma's a great player. We wouldn't want to lose someone like him without a replacement. And I know people say Koundé is better, but I think Zuma's quite an experienced player. So I would still keep him at Chelsea before Koundé comes into the first team. And as you said, wing backs and Christensen, that's a plus point as well. So there's not much evidence stating that we should
It's
go
a
back
weird
to
one with. Sorry, go on.
No, go for it. I was just saying it's a bit of a weird one where people want.
I was gonna say it's just a weird one with Zuma, and that apparently he refused to go in a swap with Koundé, and he's now also just refused to go to West Ham as well. So it's quite clear that he wants to stay. He wants to fight for his place at Chelsea, despite being fourth choice centre back right now, or probably fifth choice with Reece if Reece James can be used as it's probably basically fourth choice centre back. So I
But
think
we
we're gonna
got to
have.
look at it in the way where it's we got to look at it where I think we've got 5 possible centre backs, and from the 5, 3 have to play a game. So he technically almost becomes just a backup option.
Yeah.
Yes, and looking at Chelsea's season, I mean we've got the Premier League, Champions League, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, and then the Super Cup and all that kind of stuff happening. It's almost 5 competitions where we will need this depth. I mean, Zuma himself knows he'll get some minutes in. If he does bring up his A game and he has a few great performances, Tuchel will be more than happy to put him in that back three. And we know Thiago Silva last season, thankfully it wasn't a long-term injury, but we've got to keep him safe as well. Aspi as well. We don't know if he's going to play all the games like he did last season. I mean, he still seems like he's probably one of the fittest players in the team, youngest players in the team.
That's true. That's why, I think it makes sense to kind of keep around Trevor Chalobah as well, just in case. Because Kurt Zouma did actually play quite a few minutes last year, even under Tuchel. He still played quite a lot at left centre back and sometimes in the middle as well. And that's where I think a lot of the whole stigma of Zouma not being fitting Tuchel's system is from when Zuma's been played in the centre of the three, and he's not been able to play the ball anywhere near as well as Christensen or Thiago Silva. But when he's been played on the left of the three instead, like a Rudiger backup, he's done quite well. So keeping him there as a backup to Rudiger does make a lot of sense. And for the right, you can either have James coming back instead of Aspi, having James as right centre back, or you keep Trevor Chalobah around and he can be your backup right centre back. So keeping these extra guys does make a lot of sense instead of shelling out 70 mil on someone who isn't, or I don't know. I haven't watched too much of Koundé, so I don't know if he would immediately dust Aspi, but hopefully not.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest question now. Spoiler alert, but the two kind of signings that we're after is Lukaku and Koundé, and Lukaku walks into this playing 11, and Koundé, it's a bit like, he might have to give a few performances off the bench to prove himself before he can walk into this playing 11. And if he can't walk into this playing 11, why get him on when we've got someone like someone like Zuma's waiting on the bench, Chalobah, who's been playing really well during preseason, and he's someone that, even if we use for a few seasons, his market value increases and we sell him after a few seasons if we really don't need a center back. But I mean, of course, if he performs well, he can come into this team and become a permanent. I mean, Tomori would be one of the examples.
True, yeah. It's like you can definitely come in and I know that if we did buy Koundé, it would definitely ruffle a lot of feathers amongst Chelsea fans because of us discarding Tomori almost. But that was a bridge we burned last year, or one of the only bridges that Frank Lampard really did burn under his time as manager was dropping Tomori almost completely in the second season of his tenure. So I think, and that's just something we have to deal with, and we can't really do anything about anymore, which sucks. But when you flip the coin around, it's like maybe Koundé is the eventual Aspi replacement at right centre back, because like you said it about a minute ago, Aspi's not going to be able to play all the time. So and do we necessarily want to sacrifice Reece James's offensive capabilities by moving him back to right centre back? He's proved that he can do it, but it's like if we move Reece James back, we don't have an amazing right wing back in. So better to replace Aspi with a right centre back. So I wouldn't mind him. I'd be fine with Koundé for sure as a right centre back, as someone to replace Aspi.
But for 60
mil,
yeah.
If that means we can't get a centre midfielder, if it means we can't get Tchouaméni, then yeah, I wouldn't. But if Tchouaméni isn't happening and Rice isn't happening, then I'd do that. I'd do Koundé for sure, or get Koundé in.
Right, but let's go to something that is happening, and it probably has happened by the time this episode goes out. Now Alex is awake. The whole time he was sleep talking. No. Okay, so track back to about a week ago when we were kind of hearing how Chelsea are going back and forth with Borussia Dortmund. Lukaku was nowhere even close to the picture. We kind of had this whole we knew he was a backup, but it almost seemed like, it's all fizzled out nothing's going to happen. It's all over. It's either going to be Haaland or Danny Ings. It was the opposite end of the spectrum. But Danny Villa kind of happened today as well. So
that was crazy, by the way. Danny Ings just cut out of nowhere, nothing.
I'm in a few groups where we kind of discuss a few transfer news, and there's a few journalists who kind of give a bit of an insight of what's happening. And today, when that was announced, we got this message on the group chat. It was like, no one knew, not a single person, not a single journalist. It was almost out of nowhere. And I don't know how Villa have. I mean, yes, this kind of confirms Jack Grealish is going, since they're also signing a few more players after this. But it's almost like, how do you manage to hide it in this day and age where it's so hard to do it? But going back to Haaland, Chelsea and Haaland kind of broke off. Borussia Dortmund were not having it. 130 million is the most that was offered. Callum Hudson-Odoi was also part of the offer sometime last month. You know, we heard about Tammy also. Chelsea threw everything at it. Nothing happened. Dortmund said, you know what, we'll keep him for another year, sell him for 60 to 70 million next year, if it comes to that. So Chelsea, Chelsea fans turned their heads on Marina and wanted her out within the next 24 hours. She contacted Milan and got and probably got one of the best strikers in world football right now. In under 24 hours. It is almost confirmed. I mean, Simon Phillips also tweeted out saying that the Republica has confirmed that the bid has been accepted. Chelsea have spoken to Lukaku about fees. I think it was 15 million pounds per year or something. But yeah, Mino Raiola isn't the man. I don't think he's the agent of Lukaku, if I'm not wrong.
No, I think he got rid of him.
Yeah.
Lukaku used to have him, but then got rid of him, I think. Yeah. But yeah, just wow. I mean, there are only two names I think maybe three names that I think and again, there's Kane as well.
I want to stir the pot and say I'd rather have Kane than Lukaku.
Yeah,
I want to stir the pot, man.
Yeah, I'd say I'd agree with you, absolutely. But it's like Daniel Levy would rather he would rather sell him. If we were offering 300 million, he would rather sell to Real Madrid for 100 million than sell to us for 300. So it's like, just not even worth thinking about. Save the brain energy for other things.
It was on the news. I think it was 120 million, the bid that Man City kind of proposed. Not an official one. It was kind of just rumors because they're going for Grealish first, and then they'll try and go for Harry Kane. 120 million, and I think it was left by Tottenham, whereas they said he's worth way more, which is quite surprising. I would rate him at 120 million as well, but Man City are going to be a threat. I'm thinking about Man City, sidetracking, but Man City's team with Grealish, with Harry Kane, Sterling, and Mahrez off.
They can't play all of them, but apparently Pep sees Grealish as number 8, so that's going to be really cool to see how he fits in their team. But then again, just remember, they can only play 11 of these guys at the same time, and we restricted them to barely anything in the Champions League final. And we probably should have beaten them by more than one goal, considering the chances that we had. So I believe they raise their game, we'll raise ours. They go get Kane and Grealish, no problem, man. We'll get Lukaku, we get a clinical finisher. That's all we really, honestly though, we get a clinical finisher. That's all this team really needs. Don't laugh. It's true.
No, I'm not laughing. I'm just laughing at the way you and Abramovich's right-hand man.
Yeah, I'm not scared. They can.
Next time you know, it might not be a green screen. It might actually be Stamford Bridge.
Yeah. Honestly, man. Next time. But getting more serious though, it's like we beat them 3 times in 6 weeks or something like. Yeah, was that true? Yeah, in the cup, in the league. And we beat them with it whilst being immensely unclinical. So at the same time though, yeah, you got to be scared of them a little, or you got to be wary of them, because Grealish, you saw what he's done to what he did to Chelsea in both, in the last game of the season. Harry Kane's always a threat as well, so it's like, yeah, of course it makes him more dangerous, but I back Tuchel. I back
Yeah,
Tuchel
I
every
mean,
time,
we all do.
to limit both of
This
them.
this comes right after the Spurs game, and in the interview, Tuchel kind of went on and about the trend. He kind of said a lot of players I know would want to play under me. They all love my tactics and my team. They all want to be part of my team. So I hope that's not him trying to get over himself and be overconfident. I trust him as well. I think Tuchel's done an incredible job last season. There's no reason to doubt him. I mean, what are we doubting him for? There's not a single match you can pick out of the matches and you can say this was the worst performance of Chelsea because of how consistent we were. Yes, we drew a lot of the games. Even one of the Twitter one of the guys on Twitter even tweeted this, and they said how the 5 or 6 games where we should have won, where they were games that we should have easily won, we only got one points from each, and then that wasn't because of the tactical issue, or that wasn't because the opponent scored, or we were trying to chase the game. It was just because we weren't clinical. We had our chances, we weren't clinical enough, and it keeps going back to that. Once we have Lukaku, those 5 chances that we create, we only one that might turn into 2 or 3. Then, someone who's physical, someone who can actually fight the defenders, Diego Costa-esque, basically. And we haven't had that since a long time. We haven't had that since a long time. Or even Lukaku at the bridge when he was there. I mean, yes, he wasn't the best at the best of his career, but of course he's only 28. He's got about 4 or 5 years ahead of him. Can give us a few seasons of 30 to 40 goals, 30 goals a season, then who's to complain? And a few trophies along with that, another Champions League, another Premier League, and that's money well. And along with that, Tammy Abraham, he's probably going to be leaving to Atalanta for 40 million. So if we've already paid out that fees.
It's quite interesting, the whole Ings Lukaku. There might be a whole Ings Lukaku Abraham kind of merry-go-round. So apparently, Lukaku comes to Chelsea. Inter's replacement is apparently going to be Zapata from Atalanta. I mean, Atalanta are going to buy Tammy Abraham to replace him, or maybe. So it's a really weird merry-go-round. We've seen that, but it's also shaken up by the fact that Aston Villa. I genuinely thought he may have gone to Aston Villa, but they bought Ings now as of today, which came out of nowhere. So that rules them out. So it's either basically Arsenal or Atalanta, and I'm sure Chelsea would love to sell.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing that I'm just seeing. Someone's just gone. Tuchel said we wanted to see Bakayoko on the field to see what capable was. So tweeted that, and he said we saw full talent. That's brutal.
That's offensive. That is so mean. But at the same time, you can't. It's not wrong.
He's had his chances. I mean, he's had his chances. It's a case of Morata.
Mohammad, Fabrizio Romano has given a "Here we go" to Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish.
Well then, guys, we have got a live.
He's done it.
Has he?
Yeah. He's done it.
So that's that. Yeah, again, it's a domino. I think we spoke about this a few months back. It's a domino effect, one after another.
Yeah. What is it with things getting announced after we press start on our recording?
Again, domino effect. It falls into place.
We decide. CFCTALK causes everything to happen.
I'm just hoping.
Domino is just.
That's the one time I don't want dominoes to fall. But no, 90 million. That's a steal. I would say million for Jack Grealish. That's good.
100, even. It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it says 90 with add-ons. Well, yeah, it'll
Oh
probably
yeah,
end up
sorry.
being, yeah, it'll probably add up to, oh, sorry, that's 100 million final fee. I was anxious because it was loading the image. So yeah, whew. Jack Grealish to Man City, and now they're going to go Harry Kane, which I think will happen.
Yeah. I want to do that. Like, I want us to be. I don't know. I'm in two minds between. Yeah, I don't want to see them assemble a super team, but at the same time, how satisfying would it be to beat them to the league after they've assembled their ultra stacked attack? Because I think we could. I believe, honestly, man, the belief in Tuchel right now is just so high. He could literally take on anyone. I think he could literally take on any team or football, put any players against him. He's a genius. He's just a genius right now. So yeah, I know you call it blind faith or call it trust. I don't know what's best to how you can describe it, but I think the belief that we as Chelsea fans have in this manager right now, who's done what he's done with a group of players that isn't. Yes, it's very expensive, but it's not like they're all his players. He's come in with he's basically had to come in and do it with players that have been bought for him, and he won the Champions League. So I have ultimate trust in the guys. No doubts. Ultimate trust.
I'm kind of at the schedule for Premier League right now, and I'm seeing from the August 22nd to 25th of September, the 4 of the top 6 in Aston Villa, if you want to include them as well. So that's 5 of our games. That is probably where our title is decided. I mean, if we win those games, that's the title done. I mean, we've got Man City, Tottenham, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Aston Villa. So that's where it is. And by that time, 25th of September, we'll probably have full squads where players the transfer window will be closed as well. And Bakayoko is trending, and it's not a good sight to see. So we'll skip over that. It's not a good sight to see. Yeah. But the players who have gone out already: Tomori, Gilmore, Giroud, but Gilmore, of course, on a loan, which is I would say is brilliant. A good thing. I don't think. I think. Yeah.
Well, sorry. Were you saying no? You're saying it's bad?
No, I was saying it was a great loan because I think Norwich's manager has worked with Thomas Tuchel, and then they kind of have the same, build up from academy. So to see him there, he's going to get a lot of time. And even in the preseason game that he just played a few days back, or was it yesterday, where a lot of Norwich fans were like he was world class. He was probably the best player on the pitch, and it's only the first game. So I'm very much excited to see how that goes with him, and when he's back, hopefully next year, that we don't need Rice. Maybe we don't need Chishimeni. We can just use Billy Gilmore, the Scottish Iniesta.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
It's the biggest a great one for him though.
Yeah, sorry. The biggest. I was just going to add on and say the biggest loan. I don't know the biggest loan. The biggest news at the moment: Tammy Abraham, Atalanta, 40 million. Just got 4 headlines from that saying that the Atlanta are ready for that, and Chelsea will accept it in the next coming few days once Lukaku is 100% confirmed.
Yeah. I'm really happy that Tammy, that he's like, Atalanta are a really good team, very attacking team, and I just want the best for Tammy. I know it's not going to happen at Chelsea. He's not exactly what we like. He's a good striker. He's not going to lead us to a Premier League title or a Champions League title right now. He may in his peak, but right now, what he needs to be the number 9 all the time for a team, and it's just not going to be at Chelsea. But I think all Chelsea fans, regardless of their opinion of him, they got to respect what he did, what he's done for Chelsea, particularly in his first season. In his first full season at Chelsea, 1920, 18 goals in the Champions League and the Premier League. Crucial in getting us top 4. Tammy Abraham needs he could not get more respect from Chelsea fans. I think fans of the academy will of course love him forever, but we've got to give him he deserves it's more of a it's not a goodbye. It's more of a thank you for your great service to the club and best of luck in your career. And we know that you'll make it, because he will make it. Like, he's still not that old. He's what, 24, I think. And
I'm gonna check that, because every time we've mentioned his
he's definitely not 25.
been...
He's definitely not 25. He's definitely 24 or 23. Absolutely. But yeah, he's gonna make it at
23. But he'll be 24 this year. 24
exactly.
This year at the end of.
He's got bags of. He's done it for Chelsea. He's done a lot to help the club, particularly to get Champions League football, to fund our rebuild. So yeah, nothing but absolute respect and love for Tammy, and he truly deserves to go out there and make a name for himself and do well. So I'm happy that he gets a good move. He gets a move.
No, I think, in my opinion, I was asking someone about this, and I said this is kind of the same situation as Lukaku. Or I guess Tammy's he's been more influential than Lukaku's first spell at Chelsea, but I would love to see him come back one day at Chelsea and play for Chelsea again. He's got potential, and yes, he's been unlucky to come up from the academy at a time where we've got someone like Werner, someone like Lukaku coming in, someone like Havertz as well who can play in that position. In the previous years, we've had, no disrespect to Morata, but Tammy would have easily been the starter, I think, in that team, and he was the starter for over 2 seasons, and he's the highest goal scorer over the last seasons. Even last year, could have been the highest goal scorer. He was tied with Werner, even with playing half the games, and it was an incredible stat as well. So, I think incredible move for him to Atalanta. Even if it doesn't happen, I think West Ham will be there. Arsenal are there as well. So I think the debate for where he goes will continue the last day or until anything is signed. But he will leave eventually, and it's a good move for him. Lukaku to come just kind of shows how he won't get any time but a bit of a talk about the oil clubs. A lot of people tweeting this at the moment, how the 2 oil clubs who made it into the UCL final are going to break the English transfer record this summer and continue to ruin football.
Well, they clearly went around when the Spanish clubs were doing it before, so
I mean, they're still doing it. They're still doing it. They just sold 10% of their stake for $2.7 billion and got and that's why Messi's deal has been kind of held up. Barcelona have made it very public that they are out of wages and they need help. Madrid are getting rid of club legends, Ramos, Varane. I think there was another one kind of left. There's rumors about Odegaard to Arsenal permanently because Real Madrid can't afford it and all that stuff, and how they need to do all that. But it's going to be interesting to see if the Champions League, not Champions League, if UEFA takes any actions against them, because I mean, of course, that's a breach of financial fair play, and along with that, Real Madrid owner still. I laugh at this every time. Not the owner, actually. Is he the? I think he's the owner, or the actual is the of Real Madrid, Florentino Perez. He's still going on about the Super League. He's still getting the Madrid courts to rule against the clubs and continue the Super League. However, I don't think any of the Chelsea, or not Chelsea, but any of the other clubs want to play in that. So that'll be interesting to see as well, in my opinion, this season. A bit of drama coming ahead again.
Yeah, I wonder if if any of these clubs ever gets the Champions League final again. I wonder if they will or not. It's just going to be English domination. It's just going to be English domination. It's just going to be English domination now. Because we pulled up, because we went out the Super League first, we're going to get all that referee bias, all this extra stuff.
Referee draws and everything's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming back to the bridge again.
Yeah, again. It's coming home. The Champions League it's home for this season is the bridge. So it can come home by winning it again.
I mean, I know we'll kind of dive into our season predictions a bit later into this kind of when the season was about to start. Hopefully, once the Super Cup final has been done. Do we really see ourselves, Lukaku? Let's sign. I think on principle it's been done. It's just the final paperwork that needs to be sorted out. But Premier League contenders are still just trying to catch up to City.
Okay, if we get Lukaku and no one else, yes, contenders. Yeah, I think
Winners,
so. I think we're chasing winners. Winners. It all depends on how well Lukaku readapts back, or if he hits the ground running or not. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll take a little bit of time to get used to his teammates. But it might take a little bit of time. I think I'm not good. Yeah, I think we've had a lot of new strikers over the past 5 years, and sometimes we've been acted a little bit hasty with some of them. So
Lukaku, the bar is low. The bar is low.
The bar has never been lower. It's never been lower. But yeah, we just need to just not be too apprehensive about him, and but if he can hit the ground running, I do think we'll make a really strong case for the league, and with loads of our other players improving, all our young players, Kai Havertz having a monster class of the season, which I'm pretty sure will happen. Yeah, we can go for it. No questions.
I
I'm a Champions
agree.
League too. Wasn't forgetting that.
Yeah. I think semi-final at least needed.
It's difficult because you never. A lot of these, you need a little bit of luck, and sometimes the Champions League winners, can go out really early in the next rounds. We started that trend in 2013, so we can definitely do it. So what
Alex is trying to say is, if we go out into the group, if we go out of the group stage, go into Europa League, the Europa League's coming home,
and win that.
CFC Dubois is going ham on it again.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. We'll the Unai Emery trophy needs to be reclaimed. So yeah.
Sure, Tuchel's public about it as well. He said they're about to rename it or something.
They should rename it the Unai Emery or Chelsea trophy, because that's who it seems to be won by only.
Yeah.
But yes,
I think that pretty much covers everything.
Yeah, I think we've done a good roundup of everything, I think.
Yeah. In other news, Tchouaméni, not a lot of news about him. Declan Rice, not a lot of news about him as well. So they're discussing that right now. It's almost all in the air right now, since Chelsea have only been solely targeting that striker position in terms of Haaland and Lukaku. But yeah, Crystal Palace on the 14th. We've got 11th. We've got Villarreal. I'm sure we'll do an episode before that about the preview against Villarreal. I mean, Unai Emery against Chelsea isn't the best, but again, he was playing on now. He's moved on to a better team for the Champions League. So we'll be looking forward to how that goes as well. And then hopefully the Club World Cup as well, sometime in November, December, when we win the Champions League. Not the Champions League, when we win the Super Cup as well. So that will be coming your way as well. Just want to give a second, say in a second that thank you to everyone for your support. I mean, honestly, I am kind of just going through the numbers. We've just hit 2,000 followers on Twitter, 2,400 on Instagram, I think. Our TikTok has gotten banned for some reason. We're still trying to sort it out, but we were close to about 2,500 there as well. And the support you showed on the second
2,500 on
TikTok and 2,500 on YouTube. And I'm losing numbers at this point, and I think
it's a favorite number.
1K on our second channel is growing as 1,000 views last 3 live streams is incredible. So thank you for all the support that you've given us, and we'll continue to create content. Alex is going to be here. Amart's going to come back hopefully soon as well. We're going to have a lot of guests in this year. We're trying to hopefully get a lot of rival guests on here as well. It's going to get a bit dirty, but at the same time, it's going to get a lot more interesting since we can have opinions from other fans and then see Tottenham and Arsenal fans
Yeah.
throughout the season when Harry Kane will be nowhere to found and Aubameyang will not have his form as well. And White will forget how to defend.
Yeah. Nothing can stop us. Now that we've got our new fresh intro, nothing can. It's beautiful. I thought one Amart was enough, but no, 16 Amarts all on the same screen. It was just.
Alex has watched this
so we miss you,
Amart. He's
Amart.
got it.
Yeah, I've memorized all of it. We miss you, Amart, though. We can't wait to have you back. We love you.
All right. Thank you guys for watching to the podcast. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, rating, comment below what you thought of us and what you think of this transfer window. Just a reminder, this is brought to you by Bag. Of course, if you need any kits as well, the one right back over here as well, Kit Bag. They've got a lot of offers going on. Check out our social media pages. We usually do a lot of codes right now as well. Code that I will give you guys. Hopefully the episode is up by that time. If not, we'll change it as well in the description. But Baller is the code BALLER. £39 and above. Your order will be free delivery in the UK, as well as 20% off on any merchandise. That includes the Chelsea new home kit and away kit. I know the home kit isn't the best one, but the away kit, it looks great. And the training gear as well. All black, something that we've all wanted for quite a while now. But yeah, more on that in the description below, as well as in the end roll. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.